Last week, Geoff could not join us, so a lot of listeners asked me why Geoff is not there. And today, we are going to have him again back. Welcome, Geoff, on this show. As promised, today's topic is going to be very, very interesting. How to understand somebody is sharing the experience, or someone is actually creating some story and is not being truthful. So today we are going to understand this from an NLP master's perspective, what it thinks about it, and how a person like me and you who don't have any idea about it, how we can learn from this and utilize this in our own life. So over to you, Geoff.
Okay, so what we're going to talk about is using sensory acuity and using it and identifying whether someone's working through a what we call visual aspect of the brain, auditory, or kinesthetic. So understanding that firstly, visual obviously means the eyes and seeing, and someone that would actually represent visual, they'll use a lot more visual words and tools there. So something will be very bright, or something, if you can see what I mean, if you can get a good picture of what's being said. So they use words that represent visual visual predicates.
Mm-hmm.
Then also we use auditory things where something's just the language we use is more auditory. So more auditory would actually be a little bit more slower, a little bit more thought and thinking about what the sounds. That sounds about right.
Okay.
And then we also have a bit more of a kinesthetic, which is more of a feeling. So the feeling or kinesthetic words is more using grasp of things and using language and just slowing down the breath a bit more, being a bit more breathy and get a feel.
Okay.
As you can just sort of sense there, you're getting a good grasp of what I'm saying.
Yeah. I can understand.
So
I can feel that. Yeah.
So with the three different types of, and there's also digital, which is a bit more, knowing a bit more about talking a lot more in facts and figures. So when you actually understand what type of communication you can actually do, you listen to firstly all the language and the words they say, but how they say. So someone that's using a lot more visual sides, they will use like faster words. So if you want to actually understand whether someone's in a visual state, they probably look a lot sharper, they dress sharper, they'll speak a lot quicker, probably breathing a lot more higher up in the chest. And you can actually identify the factors with the chest, where they're breathing in that way. A more auditory, but more sort of center of the breath, sound a little bit more centered.
Yeah.
And words have better meaning. So when you're in visual, you don't really care so much about the words. It's about the presentation and speed and getting the message across. But with auditory, it's about the quality of the words and what you have to say.
Yeah.
And being well thought out and grounded. But then a kinesthetic is just connecting, feeling, and getting grasp. So it's a slower tone, more deeper breath, more feeling. So identifying these different types of language patterns, also we can actually communicate to people more effectively, or understanding where they do. As you can probably see in my appearance at the moment, where I'm in lockdown mode with no haircut, bit of a beard, just enjoying a bit of myself. I've been in a lot more of a kinesthetic mode. I haven't gone out to look for it, so I've been a bit more just enjoying watching the movies in lockdown.
That's the best thing.
Enjoying the kinesthetic.
Being with the self is one of the best thing in the world. If
it is,
if you cannot sit alone for a long time, if you get bored without your screen or without talking to somebody else, it means
Yeah.
you don't like yourself. So if you are okay, if you like your
Well,
company, if you like your own company, there is nothing
yeah,
like it. Good job.
definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So,
the
so on
wonderful thing
the,
is we can also work. Oh, go on.
yeah, coming back to our topic, I have heard the way we behave with our past experiences, our visual, auditory, and kinesthetics also change along with that. So in case, let's
Yep.
suppose somebody has actually experienced certain events, certain incident. So he has
Yeah,
gone through actually that incident. But if somebody is trying to explain that, so there is a visible distinction between these two. What do you have
definitely.
to, yeah, what do you have to say on that?
The, um, well, there's a lot of ways to identify what's going on in someone's mind and head. Now, as you just sort of said that, one of the key things is that what I was looking for is looking at your eye pattern.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
As we have a thing called an eye pattern chart. So where you actually point your eyes determines whether you're in a visual state of mind, kinesthetic, or you got pictures, or you talking to your head, or you can get a feeling. So if I can get you just to look at the camera for 1 second, just looking at there, and if you go on and just sort of say exactly what you're going to sort of say again, you can actually tell which direction your eyes. I was watching your eyes as you did it, which direction your eyes were going. So when your eyes go up into that, in your case, in your right, left-hand
Yeah.
side up.
It goes left.
Yeah. So that would be more, you're in a visual state. So you're trying to look for the right words, and then you can sort of, there's a couple of times when you actually heard what you were sort of saying in your head there. Is that right?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Like you could, so your eyes were going from very high auditory into a kinesthetic state. So that's the way you were processing in your mind.
What does that mean for somebody who have no clue about it, how this thing can be interpreted?
So what we can actually do is work out, firstly, we can, when we actually identify firstly what type of visual chart you look at, whether you're just normally organized or alternatively organized. So someone that's normally organized, that if you look up to your left, you're going to a visual recall. But
Okay.
so if you're looking up, like up like that way,
Towards
and
right.
your visual, yeah. So on your left hand side,
Okay.
so towards your left,
Yeah.
and then looking up. And if you're normally organized, you'd be looking for visual recall. But then if you actually look in your visual on your right side and looking up, you'll be actually in visual construct. So you can almost tell whether someone's actually constructing a story to
Mm.
you. So if, for an
Mm.
example, what I can do for you, right? Just look in the camera,
Yeah.
and the way I can sort of tell it, just looking in the camera there. Now, can you remember what your room looked like when you were a kid, when you were 10 years old?
Yeah. I can.
Can you see a picture of the room?
Picture
Look
of the
there.
room. Picture of the room was. Yeah, I can recall it, although it's very old. I mean, it's too long.
Yep.
I can recall it a bit of.
Okay. Now just as you sort of see the room there, just imagine the room with pink
Yeah.
polka dots on it.
What is that? Pink.
Pink polka dots.
Okay. Pink polka dots. Okay.
Now, if you
Got it.
notice there that your eyes are looking straight up, and when you actually constructed it and seen the pink
Right.
polka dots, you're going to a visual
Right.
construct in the mind.
Ah.
So
Okay.
where you can actually position your eyes will determine
Mm.
what part of the brain you're working on. Whether you
Mm.
actually then, whether you're lying or whether you're actually telling the truth and
Nice.
recall something.
Nice. Nice.
And then when you get now can you hear in your mind's eye your mother sort of saying to you, come to dinner.
Yeah.
If you just start to hear it in your head.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Even though you did look up, you had to picture it, and then there you go. Keep your eyes open. Looking at me. Now just listen to the sound of your wife calling your name and your children calling you. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can tell you look up for the actual visual of it firstly there. Now there you go, there's the sound. See when you start looking in your eyes start moving a bit different towards direction.
Yeah, so it is not going up, but it is going sideways.
Yeah. But your initial reaction is to still go up. So you got a little bit of a picture in your mind.
First trying to visualize how my mom used to call me when I was young.
Yep.
And
so you'll go into a very visual position straight away. But it took a while to hear it.
Yeah, that's right.
But when you heard it, you can start to see the hearing. And there's also a little bit of the change in the face as well when you said it. But you still went up, your eyes went up firstly to visualize it. So
right.
You're predominantly a very visual person. So probably auditory is not quite as strong for you.
If you ask me, I don't know, like, what does that mean? But if you give me a choice between reading and listening, I'll prefer listening. So if that is
but to recall something.
Sorry?
But to recall information.
Yeah, to recall information, of course, I first want to visualize something has happened in the past and then experience that and then express it.
Yeah. So it's probably more of what we call a V visual, which you'll visualize it. So your eyes will go up, get a little bit of kinesthetic, and then hear it.
That's right. Okay.
And this is actually really, really powerful. This is wonderful tools to learn to use in terms of relationships.
Okay.
If you understand some modalities and the way the language that the person's using, and you can communicate more effectively to your partner, and you can also, or to the person that you actually in sales or your boss, so you can understand the best way to communicate more effectively.
That's right. And you will also understand the person who is sitting in front of you, or what is he up to? He is constructing something, or he has truly experienced those incidents. So great. And what about kinesthetics?
Kinesthetic is more being in a feeling kind of moment. So it's more connecting, and kinesthetic people are probably a little bit more quieter.
Okay.
But more measured, get a good feeling. So a kinesthetic phrase would be something like just as you just feel the sand walking, or sand at your feet as you're walking slowly down the beach, feeling the sand just sink deeper into the sand, the softness.
Yeah. When you're trying to recall that experience, is there any change in the position of your eyeballs again, or mind, or
so kinesthetic will be more looking down. So usually you look down.
Okay.
So looking down.
Okay. Like this, yeah.
Get a good feel.
Yeah.
So your eyes will more point down left.
If you have experienced something, right? And then
so if you want to
if you're creating, then again it will be right off.
Yeah. So what will happen there? We've got visual recall like on your visual recall here, and visual recall and visual construct, and then auditory recall.
Yep.
And then auditory construct.
Yeah.
Kinesthetic recall, but then that will be auditory digital. That's when you just start hearing a monologue in your head or something along those lines.
Okay. That's a very useful information. I think lots of people are going to get benefit out of it. Apart from this, from your experience, we'll get another topic for the next week.
We'll see you
Okay.
then.
Thank you so much. Good night. Must be late
Good
for
night.
you. Go and sleep well.
It's
Thank you.
1 o'clock now.
Yeah.
1 o'clock in the
Bye.
morning.
Good night.